My name is William May with Thomasville Restoration. I am a project concierge. When Ms. Harley's job was brought to my attention was when Tom Nider called me, and his exact words were, "The most important job that I will ever do here at Thomasville Restoration." And he stated that it needed the utmost compassion and white glove service that we had to offer. And he kind of explained to me who Ms. Harley was and the background to what she does for a living, the people that she helps, the community that she serves, and what the home that we were going to restore does for the community. I instantly fell in love with it. I told him, say no more, send me over the paperwork, and I will call her to set up a pre-walk. With the background of the story, I genuinely felt that this was my time to give back to either someone or a collective group of people that desperately needed it like I needed it at one point in my life. Whether or not they saw it that way, I don't know, but I saw it that way. And it really fulfills me. Then that's one thing that I love about this is that even if it's a $1,000 job to a multi-million-dollar job, something that I collectively love to do for people is give them their lives back. We can give them something back. It might not be everything, but we can give them something. And I feel like Tom saw that, and he saw that he could do that. And I don't know if it's, God that spoke through him or whatever it may be, but I feel like it was the perfect fit that me and Ms. Harley met. And I called her, and from the first time that I spoke to her, that voice is not, she has been frustrated with me. It wasn't a perfect process, no construction project is, but that voice of hers is so lovely. Every time you hear her, every time you talk to her, her mood and her, engagement with you and with anyone else is just lovely. She always likes to hold a conversation with you, just doesn't worry about the project, ask you how you're doing. And that's how our first encounter went in person as well. She talked about the story of the property and what had happened, and the men who lived there and how it helped them, and the importance of getting it back and functioning for them and what it was doing for their lives. And I was just intrigued every step of the way to get it back to what it needed to be for those men and for her as well.
So I had to make a claim. Warren got involved. We went through the whole process. He said, I have a company that I think will do you well, they're really good, on. I trusted Warren, but when he introduced me to Thomasville, I loved every guy. And I kept saying to them, how does everybody, how is it that everybody has the same demeanor? We sat outside. After they finished doing things, we would talk. I got to know about some of their families. We just talked. So every facet of Thomasville was great. Everybody. Mikey was like an angel. and they just kept going on and on.
So the first time I met Miss Harley, I was already on site. I was on the second level of the home. I started walking down the stairs just as Miss Harley walked in the front door. I'll never forget the moment. I stopped middle of the stairway. She stopped middle of the entryway. She looked at me, I looked at her. She said, "Mikey." I said, "Miss Harley." And it was at that moment that we just instantly connected. I asked her in that moment, I said, "How did you know it was me?" She simply responded to me and said, "A voice from above told me who you were." So I spent more time on site that day than I generally would at a job, and that's just due to the fact that me and Miss Harley, we just bonded, we connected, we shared stories, we shared experiences, we shared our strength, right? We shared our hope as why we do we do on a daily basis. There was some very, very intimate moments between Miss Harley and I that very first day we met, and that connection lasted throughout the duration of the project. We always kept in touch. I always asked her how the guys were doing. She always asked me how I was doing in life and in my recovery. To this day, me and Miss Harley, we still communicate and always check on each other.
I was never, ever uncomfortable. William kept saying, "Miss Harley, anything you need." And I kept saying to myself, "I don't believe that, William." And he said, "No, really." When Tom came in, we started out with telling me what he was going to do, but then the rest of the hour, it was 2 hours, the rest of the hour was all about us. His life, what he had done, how he was going to work through these things, how, his recovery. And I'm like, wow. And so he had to get to know me because I think he had heard about me. And I even said to him, I said, "I just love you. I don't know why, but I do." Just a wonderful guy. And I'm not being over dramatic or hyperbolic, I'm telling you. But when people touch me like that, I know this is not just natural. This is not a natural thing. This is a bond that I will have with them. And I know that when they kind of go their separate ways, when we all go, because I almost cried when William left. I just said, go out the door. Don't say anything else. But when this kind of comes to an end, I know that we'll still be friends. We will still, I just know in my spirit that we will still be friends. But Thomasville, they have kind of gone over and above the call of duty. And I said, why me? Why did Tom see me valuable enough to put a whole roof on this house? Why did he think it was important enough, or I was valued enough to say, I'm going to do this for Miss Harley? And I truly appreciate it, because now these guys can come back to a house that is, we've put this house back together beautifully. They've done a great job here. Most of the guys here, some of them have come off the streets out of shelters and that kind of thing. And for me to be able to give them a beautiful place. It was beautiful from the beginning, but this is magnificent now. Like I said, this whole thing has been a supernatural journey. God is relational. He wants you to have a relationship with him. And he wants you to have a relationship with like-minded people. Or people that are, that he puts in place for you. And that's what I believe. I believe that all of this has come about. It's always orchestrated. It was divinely orchestrated. And there are no other words for it. There's no other way this could have happened this way. Everybody, because nobody would believe this. Nobody would believe this story.